Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel Tabby Loves. I'm Tabitha and I talk to you about the things that I love. Today we are going to be doing my June reading wrap up, and I feel like I didn't read that many books this month, probably because I was finishing that last Mistborn book, which I was counting as the previous TBR, so that's probably a big contributor to that. However, I did start to make some headway with my Throne of Glass reread, so let's get into it. Let's talk about it. We are going to be doing this wrap up from worst to best. And luckily, I only had one DNF this month, and that is from my Exploring Smut video, which just came out last week on a Friday. I'm sorry it was late, but it's because I disliked the book so much that it was late because I physically couldn't get it read enough on time to upload it Wednesday. And that is The Empress by Kristen Cast. And this book is basically about a woman whose life was falling apart, and she gets a magical tarot card from this special tarot shop or whatever I think they're in Chicago, if I remember correctly, and gets teleported into a fantasy realm where there is a hot man. I already forgot what his name is. It starts with a K. Kane? I think his name is Kane. And her name is Hannah, by the way. But he helps her out, I guess, and is also, obviously they're also insanely attracted to each other or whatever, the norm. And that's about like I got about halfway through before I DNF'd it. I wasn't vibing with the main character. I thought she was annoying because she repeatedly refused to listen to the male character who's from that world and was just throwing herself into danger and just revealing things about herself that, again, could have put her in danger. And it was acting like she knew this fantasy country better than the guy that came from it, even though she was only there for like a few days and knows absolutely nothing. And I got sick of it. And honestly, the spice ended up being mediocre. So, yeah. Now, a big jump from DNF to 3 stars, but I gave 3 stars to People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. And I will be diving into all of Emily Henry's books at some point. That is a video I have planned when I finish reading all of Emily Henry's backlog. But I will say this is probably my least favorite Emily Henry book so far. It felt so formulaic, especially to another book I have later on down this list. It almost felt like a copy and paste of the other Emily Henry book I'm going to talk about that I read also this month. And maybe the fact that I read them both in the same month is part of the problem, but I digress. The People We Meet on Vacation is about, I'm not going to remember the main characters' names, but the main female character, she is a travel blogger, and her best friend would go on vacation every single summer since they became friends in college when they got slumped together to do a carpool trip back to, because they had lived in the same town, so they ended up carpooling back to the same town together, set up by their friends or whatever. And like I said, they were going on vacation every single summer, and as we go through the story, they had some sort of falling out, which led to them not going on vacation for 2 to 3 years together. And they get back in contact and they decide to go on another vacation after years of not talking to each other. And so we kind of go back and forth between the past and the vacations they took in the past and their current vacation and the ways that it's going wrong and the way that it's different from their past experiences or whatever. And of course, the past is slowly working its way up to the event that caused them to stop being friends and have a falling out or whatever. And it was okay. I enjoyed it, but not as much as I did other Emily Henry books. And not as much as I have other, even contemporary romance books. Like I said, it was very formulaic, and I got a little bored in the middle. I got tired of hearing about all their past vacations, because it wasn't, so extraordinarily different from one another, except for, a few instances that were random, honestly. So I digress, though. It wasn't awful, though. I still enjoyed the writing. I still ended up enjoying the characters. I've read better from her specifically. So yeah, it got 3 stars. And honestly, all it really did was make me want to go on vacation, and I do not have going on vacation money. So maybe that's also one of the reasons. I was a little bitter. I was a little sad. Up next is a short one. But for my monthly buddy read I do with my friend Adia, it was my turn to pick, and I chose Nike's Great Race. This is a book in the Bella Sarah book series. It was a book series that I loved as a kid because I loved the Bella Sarah cards as a kid. And so I also read all the books because, of course, being a bookworm, as soon as they started releasing books, I started devouring them. And it was still a 5 stars on a reread, to be honest. I mean, obviously, made for children. The plot, super simple, super, what's the word I'm looking for? It literally was just in my mind. Predictable. It was super predictable, but it is written for kids. Like, for a kid's book, it was a 5-star kid's book. It reminded me of some of, like, the simple, whimsical fantasy I enjoyed as a kid. Along with, like, the Rainbow Fairy books, that kind of stuff. Nike's Great Race, we follow her family is farmers. I'm trying to remember the name of the cows. They're, like, these floating cows. And what they eat kind of determines what milk they produce, and they like if they eat this peppermint bark, they make like peppermint milk or whatever, but they mostly graze on, like, I think it's called like strawberry grass or something like that, and they make strawberry milk, and they like that her family sells it at like events or whatever. And what she wants more than anything is to join the great flying Pegasus race, because like this entire story also takes place on like floating islands. Like their entire civilization is on a bunch of floating islands, sort of thing. But she watches these girls race on their Pegasuses all the time, and she wants to do that, but her family's too broke for her to have a Pegasus, so she never gets the chance. And that's when Nike, which if you don't know, which I don't know how well known Bella Sarah was, but if you don't know, these books all revolve around one of the horses on one of the cards, and Nike was one of those horses. So the story is also about how Nike comes and helps this girl achieve her dreams or whatever, and like develops a special bond or whatever. Because the entire Bella Sarah series, cards, movies, because there were movies and all, were all about the connections between girls and their horses. But I digress to how Horse Girl it was. It was so whimsical and delightful. I would love to do also maybe a potential video, not a series. I'll do it one video where I just read all of the Bella Sarah books available on Kindle Unlimited and just take in the nostalgia, because I read a good portion of them, and I think they're all fun and whimsical in their own ways. Oh, that was so long-winded. Like I said, I gave this book 5 stars, but I put it in the middle of the tier list because it was made for children. So, by default, it's not as good as some of these others that we're going to get into. Fun fact, I actually loved Bella Sarah so much so I went through a phase when I was a teenager. This is such a tangent, I'm sorry. But when I was like, it wasn't even teenager, I was like a preteen, right? And I was like, well, I'm an adult now, so I'm going to get rid of all my childish things. And so I got rid of my Bella Sarah card collection. And then I was like, I can't remember if I was graduating high school or if it was my first year of college or whatever, but around that time, I realized how much I missed some of the things that brought me joy when I was younger, and Bella Sarah was one of them. So I bought a bunch of cards off of Amazon, and so I have restarted my collection, and I haven't added to it much after that like initial period because I have a good stack here, but I had missed these cards so much. Oh god, I just dropped a bunch of them. But yeah, it's basically just pictures of horses. But they're gorgeous pictures, and I would just literally spend hours just going through these and reading like the sayings. Like the sayings are basically affirmations, and they're just so cool. They will forever have a special place in my heart. Like look at this one. It has all my love. I just like I can't. The horse girl in me that I was growing up loves Bella Sarah still to this day. Oh, I miss it. I know it's not really a thing anymore. It's a shame. They should reboot it. Alright, I digress. Tangent aside. Up next is Happy Place by Emily Henry. This book, I think I gave it 4 stars, if I remember correctly. And Happy Place is the one I was referring to where this book felt like the precursor for The People We Meet on Vacation. Because Happy Place is about... it's a group of friends always goes on vacation to a to one of their friends' family's like vacation house in Maine, and they go to like the lobster festival every year or whatever. And it follows the two main characters I'm not going to remember the names of, and or I guess I say the two main characters. It is a one point of view. So it follows the main character. She had a relationship. Maybe I do remember this guy's name. Was his name Will? I think his name was Will. Beside the point, she basically fell in love with one of the guys in their friend group. And this is another case where there's like a current present day vacation that they're all going on. And it's two of their friends getting married. And she has to pretend that her and the guy that she had previously been dating from their friend group are still dating, because they're worried if it comes out that they have broken up, it would like dissolve the friend group, and they just like weren't ready to like come clean to their friends that had happened, so they had to pretend to still be seeing each other while they're on one last vacation as a group, or so they think, or whatever, and again, we go back and forth. We go back in time to see other vacations they had all taken together, and all of them meeting and that kind of stuff, leading up to what had happened with her relationship with this guy that caused them to break up. And this one I liked better, not only because I feel like the build-up, the angst was a lot better in my opinion. The build-up to what it was that caused them to break up was a lot more compelling, to be honest, because like people we meet on vacation, I kind of could have guessed what led to them like not seeing or like falling out or whatever had to do with them having feelings for each other. In this case, it's them breaking up, and you got to figure out, well, this couple seems really great for each other. What caused them to break up, and what's causing them and keeping them from getting back together now when they obviously still have that chemistry, But I digress. Like I said, I did enjoy this better, but again, I did find the back and forth between the two timelines to get a bit tiring, which is what kept it from being a 5-star for me. However, I enjoyed the build-up. I enjoyed the conclusion. I enjoyed seeing that kind of progression in that character development all throughout the story, both in present time and past time, So, could be better, could be worse. Again, I have read better Emily Henry books, but I still thoroughly enjoyed this one. Alright, this next one is going to be interesting to talk about because I went into it pretty blind. And I don't even remember specifically where I got the recommendation for this book from. I do know it was, I think, on TikTok. It was either TikTok or Instagram. And I know there was some sort of prompt, like, that it was under, like, some sort of, like, oh, it's this kind of magic system or whatever, that made me pick it up. Or maybe it was just like, oh, some like underappreciated fantasy or something. So I put it on my TBR hold or whatever at the library. It came in and I listened to the audiobook of it. And I ended up giving this book 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. It basically, it follows, I'm going to butcher her name. It's like Agnieszka, I think it is. And she is like a part of this town, which their lord is a wizard named Dragon. And he every 10 years takes a girl from the village to be his servant up at the castle, and then when 10 years go by, it says like they never return, but they never return because they're killed or anything. They never return because once they've been out of the village for 10 years, they have no desire to return, and they go and do greater things with their lives elsewhere or whatever. And she has this friend that and everyone in the village knows that the dragon is going to take her friend, and that the time with her friend is limited, and then once the dragon is done with her, they'll never see her again because she'll go off and do great things. But surprise, surprise, the dragon ends up taking her instead. And what it doesn't say in the synopsis, because that's basically all you get from the synopsis. What it doesn't say in the synopsis is there is like, they call it the woods, but it's like an evil woods, like an evil forest that is slowly like consuming everything that the wizard has been holding back. And also a lot of the girls that he takes, but especially because the main character, the reason he took her is because she has magic dormant in her, and what he does is he teaches her how to use that magic, basically. Again, very simplified version of the plot. It doesn't go that smoothly, obviously. And they end up working together to fight against the woods and the corruption that it spreads. And it was just a great story. I will say, though, it is labeled as YA, but it's weirdly graphic for YA. And one of the things that kept it from being 5 stars is the relationship that ends up happening. And this might be a slight spoiler. So listen on to your own detriment or whatever if you don't want this spoiled. But the main character does end up becoming like getting into a romantic relationship with the dragon, with the wizard, but she's 17. She may have turned 18 before the romance began. I can't fully remember, but like she was 17 when he took her, and even if she's only 17, 18, and he's over the age of 100, but I honestly don't mind that usually. Like, I know a lot of people complain about the whole teenager plus and like immortal dynamic. Most of the time, that doesn't bother me. Why it bothers me in this specific book is because not only does the main character act really young, like she acts like a naive, inexperienced 17-year-old, inexperienced with life, not like the other things, though she is inexperienced on those other things, but not understanding life is a big part of her character when she's first taken to study under the dragon. And he like talks about how much of a child she is all the time and how she's an imbecile and all of this. And it went from their ages being super super obvious, and like yeah, she acts so much younger than him, and he harps on about how she's like a childish fool or whatever, and then it leads to them eventually like getting together, and I'm like, but he was just talking about how she's a child, and she acts like a child, and he acts like a bitter immortal being. So, and I know some people might argue that some of these other books, they act like children. I don't think so. Like, again, just behind me, like, I don't think Feyre acts like a child. I don't think Aelin specifically acts like a child. She acts like a brat, but not like a child. You know, like that kind of thing. So, I digress, though. I digress. I do overall recommend this story, though. I thought it was so good. I thought I was really interested in the magic system. Like, I thought, like, the way that magic was written it was a super soft magic, right? It wasn't, like, super hard and fast rules, but it added to, like, the whimsy, almost storytelling-esque vibe of the book. And while it was a little bit more fantasy politics heavy than I was expecting, I enjoyed it. This, I believe, is a series. Like, I think I saw that there's at least one other book in this. I don't know yet if I want to continue the series, because I like where this book ended. It seems like it's a book that didn't need to continue on as a series. However, maybe I'll try it. Maybe we'll see, because like I said, I did enjoy it, and it'd be interesting to see, well, they defeated the evil in this first book, so where does the story even have to go? But, again, she is very young, so she has much more things to experience. So I guess we'll see. Or we'll see if I even continue. I don't know. Alright, up next. A Ballad of Falling Dragons. I think I also gave this 4 stars, though I don't know. I might be tempted to raise it to 5. We'll see. But this is the second book to the When the Moon Hatched series. And while I liked When the Moon Hatched, there were some things about it that like I was kind of on the fence on. I think I gave When the Moon Hatched 4 stars as well. But this sequel was so much better. Like, this is one of the rare cases where the sequel is better than the first book. Like, I was so much more invested in the story. Not that I wasn't invested in the story the first time around, but I found the kind of push and pull of the main female character, the main male character, to be kind of annoying, like her running away and constantly being dragged back. And that dynamic happened way too much. Even if it was for, like, a quote-unquote good reason, it was a bit repetitive at that mark. But luckily, the second book wasn't repetitive. It had the perfect amount of stakes. It had the perfect amount of character growth. I think I gave it some, like, points off because it did drag here and there. Like, it did feel long at some points. But overall, I enjoyed my experience reading this book. I can't really get into this what this one is about without spoiling the first book. But the first book is about Rave, I think. Why am I already blanking on names? I can't remember. I think her name's Rave. Yeah, Rave sounds right. She is an assassin working with these rebels, and she gets basically found out and captured, but the king from the Burn, Khan, ends up saving her and taking her with him back to the Burn, where she goes on not only this, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say journey, but she does kind of go on this journey of, like, figuring out who she is when she's not, like, tied down and, like imprisoned. And also, like, her kind of finding out who she was, because this is kind of a reincarnation story. And I don't know. it was very good. It was very intriguing. The dragons play a much bigger part in the second book because again, a big part of the first book is these dragons. When they die, they like go up into the sky until they're caught by the gravity of the earth, and then they curl up and become a moon. And sometimes those moons fall. But I digress. I digress. I enjoy this fantasy series. I know some people are on the fence when it comes to the series, but this second book I think has improved the series for me immensely, and I will definitely be continuing on and reading the next book when it comes out. All right, finally, the last two books that I'm doing this reading wrap up, and I'm doing them at the same time because not only are they part of the same series, and they're both rereads, but they're also both 5 stars. So, and that is Era of Fire and oh god, I dropped my bookmark. Queen of Shadows. I barely fit Queen of Shadows under the line, but I did it. I did finish it. And I finally made a good little dent in my Throne of Glass reread. I'm behind what I wanted to do because I was trying really hard to balance it out so that I could be reading other books, like other physical books, along with Throne of Glass, and that just ended up not happening. But that's okay. Life happens, you know? But I did finish both of them. I love this journey so much. Like, I just, like, the further I get into the series, the more and more I remember how much I love this series, how happy I am to be rereading these books. Just fantastic, fantastic. And I'm going to be starting Empire of Storms immediately. We'll see how, I'm hoping I can get at least 2 Kingdom of Ash in July, which leads us into the TBR section. So I guess I should finish up with these books first. These 2 are some of my favorite. Like, I think, like, actually, technically, these 3, including Empire of Storms, are some of my favorite of the entire series. But, I don't know. I love Rowan. I love Rowan. People talk about how he has no personality, and I don't understand. I feel like he has plenty of fucking personality. Okay? He has plenty. Alright. Now we are moving on to my July TBR. And, again, this TBR is going to look really fucking familiar because it's the same thing I've been working on, but I just want to keep you all in the loop, okay? And that is, I'm still going to be continuing on with the Throne of Glass reread. I now only have 3 books left since I did read 2 last month. And so I'm hoping bare minimum that I get these 2 in since I was able to do those other 2, and then maybe a month for Kingdom of Ash. We'll see. Though, like I said earlier, I would really like to finish these 2 and start Kingdom of Ash this month. But we will see. It will depend on how the other reading I'm doing goes. But yeah, that's what more or less my physical TBR looks like. And this might work against me completing that goal I just set, but I also hope to fit in Beach Read by Emily Henry because I am doing a deep dive into Emily Henry and all of her works and all of that. So I hope to fit this in too, because I do have a physical copy of this one while the other ones were like audiobooks. So because I own this one, I do kind of want to fit it in and get it read as a physical book. So tentatively adding that to my pile too. And then I think the only other thing is my buddy read with my friend Adia. We are going to be reading, oh my god, I already forgot the name of the book. It's going to be right here. It's like a smutty, like, werewolf shifter kind of book. And I'm also going to be using it for my Exploring Smut segment for July. So it's like, I think it's called like the Zodiac Wolves or something like that. I think it's coming to me. It's like Moon Blessed, I think is what it's called. Again, you can see it right there. But this is our Exploring Smut book for July. And also my buddy read book. So because I'm combining those 2, I'm hoping that, again, leaves me plenty of time to get through this. But yeah, I am slightly more confident than I was that I will get all of my entire SJM reread done in time for ACOTAR 6 and 7. I'm obviously not going to do another reread between 6 and 7. That's impossible. But I feel like rereading these books, because this is the first time I'm rereading SJM's books since my first time reading them. And the internet had made me so scared that I was going to hate them and that maybe I just, like, didn't know what good writing was because it was right when I first got back into reading after taking, like, years-long hiatus. But it's been so much fun. It's been so enjoyable, and the books are as good as I remember them being. So take that, haters. Anyway, that is what my TBR looks like for July. Obviously there's going to be a lot of like audiobooks mixed in there that I get from the library, which I can never predict when I get to those, at what time, when they come in, all of that. So it leaves a little bit of surprise for my wrap-ups, I think, about what I actually accomplished. But anyway, if you like this video, give me a like, subscribe if you want to see more bookish content. I try to post once a week on Wednesdays around 10 a.m. My time. But like this past week, sometimes I fudge that deadline a little bit. It was Friday, but I still try to post at least once a week. Anyway, I love you guys. Thanks for watching to this point, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!